Hey super fans, Tony here from Roman Sabers, and today another install review for you. If you're new to the channel, I do install, repair, and review these sabers, so please like, comment, and subscribe. I also have a website, romansabers.com, you can find my finished products and sound fonts. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the link in the description below. So here we have a Roman Props MPP. Now this was sent to me from a returning customer. He's done several sabers through me, and this one's very, very unique and special. This one is going to be one of the most accurate that can be made, modified, all that jazz. And it took a bit of work, like these Roman Prop MPP lightsabers aren't designed terribly as install friendly. You can probably purchase them in a more install friendly state, but the way that these are set up, at least when this one came to me, it had a resin core inside that you have to take out, and then you have to separate it from the metal blade holder part from what you need to install. And to do that took a while. Had acetone, had other things like that, and it just took a while longer than I thought it would. I thought, with the MK1 from Roman Props, it's a bit more install friendly. You can go in and just start installing. With this, I had to take steps to make sure that everything was correct and installed correctly, and it just took a while. The chassis is also just a huge, huge thing. I've never done a chassis like this before, and it's such a cool design to it. So the way you want to access this is you have a flathead screwdriver. You want to unscrew the bottom of this button assembly here, just enough that it undoes the chassis. You can slide this sucker out. So this is a wonderful chassis designed by Iron Destiny Props. Nate decided to, throw this over to the customer, and he was like, yeah, let's do that. And then through a third party, got this thing printed up and stuff, and sent it to me to get it installed. And so this has a metal socket for the blade and then Shtok connector, so Shtok V3 connector there. You've got huge batteries for these, and I'll go in depth about that in a bit. Proffie 2.2 running ProffieOS 6.7. You've got a kill switch, and then of course a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker. So very, very loud. With the pommel as well, I had it modified just enough that a small little vent hole could go in there, so it's still pretty loud. Now the batteries are huge. These are the biggest batteries I've installed in a saber, and it's not just a big battery. There's two of them, and so normally you have an 18650, which I just have one here that I've used a lot, and then you have the 2600 batteries, and so a lot bigger, a lot of life. What this lightsaber is going to be used for is the customer here cosplays and dresses up as Vader himself, and so this saber will be, with this battery life, basically be great for cons, will be great for vendors when you go out and just represent the 501st or whatever that he goes with, and it'll be basically designed for that. And so this has tons of on time, and the way the batteries are soldered up are in parallel, so it'll basically have the same voltage, but it'll max out the amount of amperage slash milliamps that you have on this battery. And so still high diffuse, and what doesn't affect any of that. It has one button, and so it's running FET263's one button mod. And so, yeah. The customer here also wanted to tell Vader's story because, of course, it's a Vader lightsaber, but then he also added a twist to it. He also wanted me to put just 10 random fonts after telling Anakin's story and Vader's story, to put 10 random fonts on there that are wild and crazy, and so I'll go through some of those as well. So without further ado, let's put in a blade and show you off the fonts. So one thing I didn't mention before is it accepts a 7/8" blade. The retention screw for the blade is this silver knob here. There's this retention screw that goes through the blade holder and the, chassis itself, or the hilt itself, to get the retention, and then it glues onto this knob. So it should be pretty easy to, when you're dressed up as Vader, to tighten down that screw to make sure you have good blade retention, or prior to getting dressed up as Vader. Another thing worth mentioning is that it won't have the clamp card or the grips installed because Nate from Iron Destiny Props will go and do all of that, and so, yeah, very, very cool. So first up we have Father V1 by Kyberphonic. I decided to go back and do the first Vader font that Kyberphonic did, just to give him an overall font if you wanted to have kind of a random selection of fonts of overall, like, just Vader font for his cosplay. I know for me, as a saber guy who dresses up and goes as my Mandalorian character and stuff, having one font that kind of has a wide range of variety is nice to just start with, and so that's what we decided to go with. This is Father V1. Very, very nice, very loud. So this is your button here, which is a plunger system that goes into the chassis, which you saw earlier. And so just tap for blasters. For 4 seconds, you want to hold down for 2 seconds and let go.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
There's a few quotes from each movie.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. You don't know the power of the dark side.
So then we have lockup, of course, just hold and clash. Oh. For lightning block, you want to just double tap and hold. For color changing, you want to click it 4 times. You go into color changing mode. To lock it in, just hold down. For multi-blast, you want to hold and swing. You get that multi-blast begin sound, you can just swing your saber. So then you can have it, tap once more, give me another blast, and you're good to go. Now, what's kind of weird about this chassis itself is the Proffieboard is located a bit higher, so smooth swing and some clashes and stuff, you can't hit the pommel to do it. You have to kind of hit upwards, or the blade even, it works a lot better. And so, yeah. And then for tracks or track players, you just double tap. This has Imperial March, just a standard one on there. For next font, you just want to hold for 2 seconds and let go. This is Father V2. This is the New Hope version. So it sounds a bit different. Of course, this has force effects from there, or quotes from it.
The Force is with him. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this. Vader, release him.
As you wish.
This has a track on there as well. I think it's like Death Star or your rival. Yeah, Death Star. Yeah. Very nice. Very subtle. Next up, this is Empire Strikes Back version. One of my favorites.
Just a boy. Obi-Wan can no longer help him. Luke, you can destroy the Emperor. He's just a boy. Obi-Wan can no longer help him.
Lord Vader, what about Leia and the Wookiee?
They must never again leave this city.
This one has the Luke versus Vader track on there. Of course, all these you can add track players to if they don't have them already. Next up.
Reset the chamber for Skywalker.
So, this is one that I thought would fit very, very well with his suit and stuff. This isn't one that he originally wanted on there, or I talked to him about, but this will be one of the 10 in my mind that is kind of stylish and cool. This is Empire ESB Legends from Juan Sith. This is a Vader-inspired font, but I designed it to be like the Cloud City Bespin, like, chamber, free carbonite chamber. So, like, you have the lava lamp blade style on this. You can see probably a lot better here. And it really just sets the mood for that type of scene and stuff. So if you're ever like cosplaying for that, or you have like a scene for that, this would be perfect for that blade, because it can kind of like the smoke shows more on the blade very well, and it just, yeah. And this has the this also has a track on there for ambience.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. You are not a Jedi yet.
It's like 10 minutes long. It's great. I absolutely love it because it has tons of little subtle details and stuff in there amongst the fight. This also has quotes on there as well.
All too easy. Most impressive. Only your hatred can destroy me.
So cool. Next up. Of course, now we go to ROTJ of Father V2. So, different quotes for that.
The Emperor has been expecting you. Perhaps I can find new ways to motivate them. Luke, help me take this mask off.
This has the throne duel scene on there as the track. But yeah. Next up. So now we go back a bit. This is the Rogue One version of Father V2. So it has the hallway scene on there. And I decided to go a bit slower on this retraction than the rest previously, just because it's the hallway scene, it's more intimidating that way. I think I ended up doing 800 or so milliseconds on there. It's quite nice. So yeah. Has tons of quotes on there as well.
You'll speak to the Emperor about...
A ton. The ones that were in the movie for Rogue One.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director. You seem unsettled.
So yeah. Next up.
Where is he?
This is Darth by Kyberphonic. This is the Kyberphonic version for the Kenobi series, Vader. So a bit faster ignition for this one. Quotes for here.
The years have made you weak. The Grand Inquisitor means nothing. Kenobi is all that matters now. Is that understood? Now you will suffer. Obi-Wan.
This has a track player on there as well, from the Kenobi series. Go through it. Select one, just click. You're good to go. Next up. This is DV3 by Kyberphonic from his Annie 3 sound font. And so, yeah. Vader doesn't have, like, a lot of lightsaber scenes and stuff, so I kind of made this, like, a sad one. I put the funeral scene or soundtrack on there, symbolizing, you know, Padme's death and the birth of Vader. And I put, of course, the force effects / quotes for that right here.
Where is Padme? Yes, Master. Where is Padme? Yes, Master. Is she safe? Is she all right?
So yeah, very sad.
Yes, Master. She's safe. Is she all right?
So yeah, next up.
Anakin.
So now we go into episode 3, Anakin. This is Annie 3 by Kyberphonic. So a deep blue for this one. This has a pretty good track player on there as well. Battle of Coruscant. So yeah, next up.
Got an idea, but it's risky.
This is BFOB. This is my font for Anakin's during the Battlefront / Clone Wars era. And so, yeah, very cool. With light blue to kind of symbolize that animation. Blasters, quotes.
I am a slow learner. Anyone else feeling reckless? Much better than being stuck up in the command center. I was about to say that. Stay down! We're in a bit of a situation.
Yeah, a lot of fun. This also has the Clone Wars track on there. So yeah. Next up.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Now we're since Clone Wars. Now we're in episode 2. This is the clan version of Tusken Terminator by Kyberphonic. So green, because his clan saber is green in that movie. Force effects for the animal that he conquers in the arena. Also has a track player on there. My favorite's this one, Anakin versus Dooku / Obi-Wan. But yeah. Next up.
I'm Anakin Skywalker.
This is the standard version of Tusken Terminator by Kyberphonic, so just the normal HOM, normal stuff. Geonosian blasters. So yeah. This one has different tracks on there as well. Oh. Across the Stars. Other tracks on Tatooine. The Geonosian Factory. And then we're back to the beginning. So yeah. Next up. This is Tusken Terminator by Kyberphonic. Of course, this is the one that has the raspy hum and you can kill Tuskens with it. Next up.
Now this is pod racing.
It's F1, that hasn't really changed at all either.
Just a simple one.
So now we get into the cool, crazy fonts. This is Ronin from the Duel by Kyberphonic. So this has a slower ignition as well. This one has an unstable swing. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. But yeah. Very, very cool. A nice slow retraction. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a font like that. Have some we have some grayscale fonts on here. This is Sieve. Another really slow ignition. I thought would be really, really cool in a Vader saber. Also kind of has an unstable swing. Blasters. Lock up, the whole shebang. Horse effects. Doesn't have. Next up. This is Exalted. This is kind of an unstable one that I thought was kind of cool. Also just sounds really menacing. Next up. This is Analog by Grayscale Fonts as well. This one I chose because it reminds me of like how specific Anakin would be with his lightsaber, would be with his being Vader again, with his half man, half machine. I thought this one fit very well because it has mechanical sounds included and inside the saber sounds. I ended up changing the blade style. The original blade style was blue, but I ended up changing it to have a red with a orangish kind of white swing. So you can hear subtly the little clicks. Lockup is pretty good too. And so I just thought it symbolized Vader and the turn very well for that whole thing. And then it cools down. And so yeah, next up.
Ignition.
This one, I was trying to think of wild ones, and he already has a lot of J. DeLorean fonts on his other sabers, and so I was like, how can I not just choose another J. DeLorean font? And I completely forgot about this one, and then I remembered. And so this is Redux Ignition Redux, which is a really, really crazy font. I'll actually put it up to the mat here so you can see it. So it has the Prion, which has the like shooting crystal type of thing on it. It's really, really crazy. You can of course bypass it with gesture features, but I thought it was really, really cool to have analog right before it, so it was like tweaking the saber, and this is what you got, So yeah, next up. Another one I thought that would have been really like inspired by Vader or would fit very, very well is, of course, what's Vader without a Death Star? And so this is Project Stardust by Kyberphonic. So, really unique blade style here as well. So yeah, very, very cool. Next up.
Die.
This is a CFX font that is TIE. This, of course, Death Star. Next one would be a TIE Fighter. And so this is a TIE Fighter inspired font. So it has a white blade, very similar to the Death Star blade style. Of course, has green blasters. I don't know how well you can see that here. And then lockup, it's just more blasters. Very, very cool font, which I think is overlooked. And so, next up, this is Fire by Kyberphonic. I thought, how cool would it be to see Vader with a flame blade? I thought Lord of the Rings for a second, and I was just like, Sauron, Dark Lord. I was like, it makes sense. And so here we have Fire by Kyberphonic. Of course, it is responsive, so as you tilt the blade down, the flame wants to come back up. So that would be really cool to kind of show the cosplayers and stuff the responsive features that Proffie has. And then when you're done with it goes to the sky. And so, yeah, next up. Another one that I thought that would be really popular with the cosplay community and whatnot would be the Proton Pack, which is a Ghostbusters-inspired font by Kyberphonic. And so, yeah, this is a Ghost Sucker Proton Pack. Of course, you can change the responsiveness of this with rotating your saber as well. And this has the Ray Parker Jr. Track on there. Oh yeah. Next up.
Prepare a boarding party.
Of course, last but not least, you have your passive battery monitor, which fades from green to red depending on the battery voltage, which you have a lot of. And of course, the party blade. So that includes the install for the Roman Props MPP. Of course, I hope Jeffrey likes it. I hope you enjoy it. And of course, it's going to be just a crazy, crazy saber. And actually, overall, as far as the Roman Props saber goes, I'm actually tempted to get myself one because of the battery life and the chassis system is very easy to use. But yeah, of course, if the customer enjoys it, I hope you enjoy the video. Have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.